So for our 3 years of early retirement, we have van life,
Yes.
cruise life,
Cruise.
and
Flying.
Frontier Airlines
Yeah,
life,
right. Yeah, so-
and miles
and miles. I mean,
and points
so-
with credit cards.
Exactly.
Between our Frontier Go Wild Pass flight, visiting family, cruising in the van, how many days do you think we spent this year away from our house?
Ooh.
We're Rich and Robin,
And these are our midlife adventures.
living in and out of our midlife van.
Early retirement.
We got lucky. We were able to retire at 55, and we've been loving it.
We have limited funds in that retirement.
We are at a limited budget,
Yes.
and so we have money. We think we're going to be good for the rest of our lives, but only if
Hopefully.
we don't go crazy and spend too much. So we've been really fortunate that we've been able to find really good deals on a lot of things we've been touching.
We have done a lot of travel
Yes,
in the last 3 years. Before our retirement, we had only traveled to 8 different countries. In just over 3 years, we have traveled to 34 countries in early retirement for a total of 27 new countries since we retired. We're trying to survive retirement with budget travel.
Yes, and see as much as we can.
Yes. While we can do it.
Yes, while we can.
So one of the reasons we retired early was due to health issues.
Yep.
And we were reminded of that this year in retirement because of the last 6 months. But I've been having other medical issues that have really been as painful, if not more, than the cancer. So it slowed us down the last 6 months.
But it stopped us.
But it reminded us.
It is a good reminder. So another reminder that we need to do as much as we can while we
can do it.
And then be able to reflect on that for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, but we need to do it on a budget.
Yes, it's on a budget.
Our first year retirement started out as first we did some splurge vacations.
We did splurge a little bit.
We took all the
wanted to
kids
kinda celebrate,
and we went to Maui.
And so we took all the kids.
And then we continued on to Kauai, not really on a budget. We did some excursions that we wouldn't do now, but at that time
it was a celebration.
Yeah. And then right after that, we jumped into our van life travels.
Yeah, and then we shot up north
Pacific.
North Pacific, and then we
Pacific
actually
Northwest. And we spent probably, I think, 3 or 4 weeks up there.
Yeah, just traveling around.
Which was great because we met up with some old friends.
And then we
met
new
friends.
Some brand new friends too. That was really cool.
Then we took our first long van life trip. And not only was this trip 6 weeks, the longest yet in the van, this trip was south of the border in Mexico.
So we went down to Baja. That took a little arm twisting for me to accept wanting to go down there, but I'm sure glad we did.
Thankfully, Steven from Never Say Sunday talked Rich into going, because I'd already told Alexis, we're going. Just got to figure out how to get this guy there. And so, so 6 weeks in Baja that first year. Over the 3 years that we've been retired, we have spent how many weeks in Baja, Rich?
22 weeks. So like 5.5 months over the last 3 years. Yeah. So 2.5 over the last 3 years. Yeah. So pretty cool.
We did 3 trips that first year of retirement.
And it didn't get old.
No.
It didn't get old. It was just nice.
In fact, we have not been since March and we're jonesing to go.
Really
but
bad. So we're going in February.
Yes. Other things have been going on. The van life has really, really helped keep us to a budget.
Yes. So cheap.
In October of 2022, we took our first European van life trip.
So we went to Rome with some friends.
Spent a few days there.
And
then we took the train and we spent a few days there.
Airbnb, really cool Airbnb.
And then we had to take the train back to Rome.
Yes. And then what did we do?
We picked up an Indy camper.
So we got the Indy camper. Thought it was going to be good enough for all 4 of us.
It was good enough for all 4 of us.
Because it has little bunk beds in the back. And it's a Fiat Ducato.
Just like our ProMaster.
Exactly the same size as ours, but you can sleep 4 people in there.
And it sits 4 with 4 seat belts with a little dinette. Picked it up ourselves and spent a few nights before we met up again with our friends.
In Sorrento.
And we camped in Sorrento, and then we met up with them, and we headed southeast. And we explored the heel of the boot.
All the way out in Bari.
But then our second year of retirement, we found some really good deals in Europe for cruises.
And then all of a sudden
wait a second. Let's go back. Because first of all, we did book a January cruise, which was a pretty good deal. Not as good a deal as we're getting now.
Yeah.
And we went to the Caribbean for the first time.
Yes.
And then after that trip, we were like, I think we're cruise people.
Because then we started seeing deals. And so we started seeing some deals,
At that time, they were trying to recover from the pandemic, so they were really giving good prices.
Yeah,
so we got great deals in Europe to go to Europe for 2 back-to-back cruises, a 9-day and a 12-day, and we're like, let's go.
And we did. And then that turned into a 3 back-to-backs.
Yeah, and so we ended up spending 33 days on a ship, and we went to 18 ports. We spent
10 countries.
10 countries. We spent less than $100 a port doing excursions on our own that we planned out, taking the train or renting a car with another couple,
or free guides too,
or free walking tours. So we had the best time.
That was a lot of fun. And that was we've been to Italy before, and so this was being able to see other parts of Europe,
Baltic,
that we've
and
never
the British
even
Isles,
thought about.
and Iceland.
Estonia.
We've been wanting to go to Iceland.
Finland. So it was nice to see a whole lot of different. And the countries are so close together. It's just crazy there, It's like,
as soon as we got back from that, I think 10 days later, maybe 2 weeks later, we had already had a cruise to Alaska, our first Alaska cruise planned with my parents and my brother-in-law, sister-in-law.
That was nice.
We did that, and that was kind of another splurge. After that cruise, then we did some other trips. We went back to Kauai.
Yep.
And then in the fall of 2023, we went to our first all-inclusive resort in the Dominican Republic at Secrets Cap Cana, free with our credit card points, and flying with our Frontier Go Wild Pass for only taxes. We went to Baja at the end of the year, which was great. But then I kept seeing people get these cruise deals with casino offers.
And of course, we're not big gamblers. We are definitely not high rollers.
But every cruise we've been on, so like the 33-day cruise, we got 3 times $200 onboard credit.
Yeah.
Well, we learned that you could cash that onboard credit out at the casino, so we got $600 back. But what we also learned, if you take that $200 and play it in the casino, and if you're lucky enough to keep that money going for the cruise, you might get some cruise offers.
Then you come home, and then all of a sudden in your inbox, boom, there's an offer. And so some of the offers are last-minute cruises, trying to get you, and others are further out.
Or long cruises, like we've been from
repositioning cruises.
We've been from the East Coast to Spain. We've been from Long Beach here in California to Japan via Alaska again.
And then
Singapore back to Long Beach. So we actually got lucky with that casino offer and continue to get lucky.
It's been paying off even after that. So the same thing. I don't think you spent more than maybe $350.
Well, the very first cruise, I took the $200 onboard credit, and I spent another $100. But then I cashed out. I won $60. So really, I spent $40 to get the special offers.
Yeah.
And we have cruised. Let's see.
So we did 5 cruises.
You did 5 cruises?
I did 5 cruises.
I did 7.
You did 7. You did a couple extras
without
me.
And together we did 71 days of cruising. And the cruise price per person for those 71 days a person this year was how much, Rich?
Less than $50.
$17 a person.
$17
per day.
Per day
for 71 days of cruising.
So $34. So let's just round it to $35 for the 2 of us per day to be able to eat, have entertainment, comedy shows, hang out, and most important too, it's our hotel and it's our transportation to all these different countries.
Or port.
How many countries did we hit this year?
20 countries.
20 countries.
Last year,
18 countries. Yeah, so we did 20 countries this year. Being able, and that's just amazing that we can be able to going to all these places. Of course, we didn't stay at each place for a week. It's a one day.
We got a taste of it to know what place we want to go back to.
Places we want to come back to. Others maybe not.
Another addition to our budget travels was in 2022 in November.
2020.
So 2 years ago.
Yes.
Rich saw this Black Friday deal for Frontier Go Wild Pass. So you can fly with Frontier
Airlines. I think you've flown maybe once.
Yeah.
But I've never flown them. and just thinking, should we take a chance?
Should we?
And it's, you buy it and you got all year to fly as much as you want.
Well, first you buy it in November. Well, we bought it in November because it was supposedly it was going to be cheaper.
Yep.
And it wasn't going to start till May.
Yep.
And then you have a whole year with some blackout dates, 20-something blackout dates.
You pay a penny for the flight plus the airport fees and taxes, so it turns out to be like $15.
Yeah. Unless you're going international, then the international fees are more.
Yeah.
But we determined that first 8 months we had the pass in 2023 from May to December.
Yep.
We did 23 flights,
23
I think.
flights.
And the average just under $50 a flight. We went to Costa Rica.
Yes.
We went to the Dominican Republic.
So if we exclude those, then it would be $15.
Yeah, but we
even
got to go to
include-
these new countries
Exactly,
we've never
that
been
we
to.
never did. So,
Yeah.
so I mean,
So then the next year, so 2023,
they came out with another Black Friday.
it went down $100. We bought it again for the following May. We've done 24 flights so far in
Yep.
the 8 months we've had it. Less than $50 a flight. We did Cancun this year on that, and we went to Puerto Rico, which charges international fees, even though it's
But then we did 2 weeks
another country.
just solid traveling
Yeah.
too, just to
So
experiment.
then,
So we were talking about it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, Black Friday's coming up. Should we renew and do it again? We're like, we
We've got the
enjoyed
van.
it. We got our money's worth out of it, but
we've been cruising a lot because
Yeah.
we got the cruise deals, and we've been in the van a lot. So let's just skip a year.
yeah. And so we were just gonna skip it. Black Friday came and went. They didn't have anything. They came out with an offer a couple days ago, and it was for $299.
Yeah.
So half the price that we paid for
How
that first
could we
year.
not?
We said, well, of course we have to do it. So,
now
it's
we'll
back
have-
in our
We'll have another
wallet.
year. If we get some more last minute cruises, we have
Offers. We do that. We can go visit our oldest son in
Yeah.
Colorado,
Visit my
more, go up
parents.
to Northern California
Yep.
more. So we'll still be able to utilize it and definitely get our $300.
go back to Costa
worth.
Rica.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this last year, 2024, is when we started our casino play to get good cruise deals. So those cruises, like a last minute cruise out of Galveston, we had the Frontier Pass, so we flew last minute. We've cruised out of Manhattan, so we frontiered to Baltimore to visit our friends we met in Baja, and then we took the train up there. Cruised across the Atlantic. We had to get back. Frontier doesn't fly from Europe,
Yep.
but we have other credit cards that
That
give
we're
us
able-
some great
and give us
miles and
miles.
points.
We're able
So
to-
we flew back for just taxes from
Yes,
Europe with other
yes.
credit cards. Went back to van life after our transatlantic cruise from
Virginia through Portugal into Barcelona.
and then spent a couple days in Barcelona.
And then picked up another Indy camper.
So we spent 10 more days in Europe in camper van life, and it was kind of a nice way to see different areas.
We were able to see how many countries? 10 countries.
And then we went to Japan on a cruise ship, and then from there
We did Alaska, then Japan.
Yeah,
right?
and after a week in Japan after the cruise, 3 hotels with our credit card points. We
Did another
flew
week
to
in-
Korea. We went to Seoul, South Korea, and had a great deal on a Marriott property for a couple nights.
Yes.
And then we had
And
points.
then we had points
To
to be able
fly.
to stay 7 nights down in Maui.
So we had points
Yeah.
to fly from Seoul
Yes.
to Maui
You're
for
right.
free with just taxes. And then
Yes.
we spent the 7 nights in Maui, and then we had points to fly
From Maui back home.
with Southwest with a companion pass,
Yeah,
because
all we had to do is
also
pay the
Frontier
tax.
doesn't fly to Hawaii, so we got the companion pass on Southwest. So that's what we've done this year. It's the day before we got off our cruise from California to Japan. We received another cruise offer from Singapore to Long Beach, and we couldn't pass it up. We flew back to Singapore in October using our credit card points transferred over to United Miles, and then stayed a couple days before the cruise in Singapore using our Marriott points. Been
Crazy.
between our Frontier Go Wild Pass flights, we spent a couple weeks away with Frontier Go Wild Pass, visiting family, cruising in the van. How many days do you think we spent this year away from our house?
Oh, I was gonna think 6 months.
199 days.
199 days we spent out of the house.
Yeah.
I thought more than that.
Not this year. I think this year's was the least amount. I think because of my back issues, we were home the most.
Okay.
For our 3 years of early retirement, we have van life,
Yes.
cruise life,
Cruise.
and
flying.
Frontier Airlines
Yeah,
flying,
right. Yeah, so-
and miles
and miles. I mean,
and points
so-
with credit cards
exactly.
for hotels. So for hotels, we spent 41 nights in hotels in 2024, and we paid for 18 of those nights.
So if you think, so you said how many?
So we paid an average with the paid hotels was $46 a night. That's not bad.
That's pretty cheap.
And
it's
so
not Motel 6s that we're going
no,
to.
we're staying in some nice hotels. So with miles and points, that's really helped keep that hotel budget down. So that's worked out really good for us. So we spent just under $2,000 for hotels. For cruises, we spent $2,500. So
$2,500, not per cruise.
I'm sorry,
Robin.
$2,750. So we've paid just under $4,800
for
for hotels and cruises,
and
for a total of 112 nights.
yeah, which is crazy. So normally one cruise would be $2,800.
Oh, at least, yeah. If you want a balcony, we do only interior.
We only do interior rooms,
Yeah.
and so we
do cruising on a budget.
Yes, and it's worked out really well. I mean, we are not missing out.
We don't buy the
on
drink
anything.
package. We don't buy the Wi-Fi package. Like more than the
We
longer
don't do
cruises.
excursions.
The longer cruises, we might buy a day of
just to
Wi-Fi here
catch
and
up
there.
and-
But on like a 7-day cruise, if you're at port 3 days, you have cell service at port.
Yeah,
and
fortunately, our AT&T cell phone packages have
international
they have
plan.
international, so we get free roaming down in Mexico and
Canada.
Latin America and Canada, and then for
Europe and
we have to pay,
Asia, it was
day
the
passes.
price has gone up to $12 for the first person, $6 for the second. Rich has been
per
experimenting.
day. Yeah.
Rich has been experimenting with
With, some
eSIMs,
eSIMs, yeah.
but then it's not his phone number, so we either have to FaceTime or
WhatsApp,
WhatsApp.
yeah.
So that means people at home can't get a hold of Rich because they don't know what
That's
his phone
okay.
numbers are.
That's okay. We don't.
So it was a little hard to communicate
But
until
the
I
point
figured
is-
out I had to FaceTime you.
But the point is, what really adds up on cruises, of course, like you said, you get
drinks.
the drinks, the balcony, and then you get the Wi-Fi,
yeah.
and so then and
Picture
the
package
excursions,
and excursions.
excursions.
So if you have questions about budget retirement, points and miles with credit cards, leave them in the comment below and we'll answer them.
Yeah, we'll get back to you.
Questions about the cruising. We've been doing Carnival for our casino offers. We've been to Princess 3 times. We want to kind of jump back on there to see if we can get casino offers there, or maybe try Royal or MSC.
Yeah,
but for now, Carnival has
Carnival
really,
went great.
but it's been working out great for us. And let us know if you have any questions.
Yep.
So check out our other videos to see what we've been up to on our
Midlife adventures.